Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name is Farah Halabi and I'm a professional Muslimah life coach. Have you heard the saying, failing to prepare is like preparing to fail? And as I think about how I want my day to go and how I would like specifically tomorrow to go, the day of Arafah, what I want to do, how I want to optimise my time, how I want to eke out every blessing that I can, doing what I usually do, but also making the efforts to do a little bit more, but with the intention of connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and earning his rewards. So I've created my little schedule of how I want to incorporate a real structure, to incorporate and to follow an intentional, prioritized, prepared way of navigating my day tomorrow, with the intention of reaping as many of the rewards on offer on the day of Arafah as possible. Now, usually when we go through life, we're waiting for this elusive feeling of just the right amount of inspiration, or just the right dose of motivation, or just the right whatever it is when we say I'm not feeling it today, or I feel just like whatever it is that that you've got going on. When we look at what that actually means, what is that feeling? What is that, just that right amount or right dosage or right power or level or standard of feeling? What feeling is it that we're waiting for that is, yep, today is just going to be how I want it to be? Now, for the day of Arafah tomorrow, with my intentions, I could wake up tomorrow and see how I feel and take it from there. But I want to fast tomorrow. So with that intention, I'm not going to leave it to, well, actually, the action is fasting. The intention behind it is earning and reaping the rewards of fasting on the day of Arafah. Ultimately, those rewards are connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, are worshipping him, are doing the actions, fasting, doing that act with the intention of pleasing him, with the intention of connecting with him, with the intention of earning the rewards, and knowing that it is a good thing for me to do. So I can't just wake up tomorrow and see how I feel to do it. I've made the intention beforehand, and so now, with that intention being made ahead of time, I will now reverse engineer what I have to do, the steps that I have to take, the steps that I want to take in order to make that happen. So I'm preparing to fast. I'm not preparing to fail. I'm not preparing to not fast. I am intending to. And my preparations are the small steps that I can take now that will lead me to waking up tomorrow morning and fasting. But not just waking up tomorrow morning at the time before Fajr. I want to wake up a little bit before. I've got my list of things that I want to be doing. I've got my ibadah list, and I've got a plan of how I want to, what I want to do tomorrow, and the blessings and the intention behind it. And I've got connection in real big letters, because the order of the day is connective worship to Allah. And another thing that comes to mind is my why. Like, I can do all of those actions. I can pray, I can fast, and in of themselves, there are blessings in them. But that's the physical part of fasting, the physical part of reading Quran, the physical action of praying, of doing salah, of doing extra prayers, or doing the salah in general. And that's the physical. The spiritual and the psychological part is the psychological part, the thinking part is the intending, is the thinking about how I'm going to put into action what I do, so that it's not just a case that I'm on the salah mat and I'm there in person, but I'm not there in mind or in my heart. Spiritually, I'm not there. There's no connect. It's just like robotic movements. What I want is to align my physical, my spiritual, and my psychological, because they are the three parts that make me, make me a human being. So when I align them by being there on the prayer mat, by reading my Quran, by fasting physically, but by thinking about it, doing it intentionally, doing it to the best of my abilities, and then spiritually aligning it with the intention of wanting to connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, having faith and belief that I will be rewarded, having faith and belief that this is a good thing for me, that there are the blessings in it, that there are the physical blessings, the spiritual blessings, the psychological blessings, that when I set out and I achieve what I have intended to, that just that in and of itself is, you know, it's inspiring, it's motivating. I'm not waiting for a feeling. I'm not waiting to see if I feel like it, because I don't even know what that feeling is. I don't even know what that's called, what it feels like, what it actually is. But I know that sometimes, you know, I've been waiting for it, but this is putting me firmly in the driver's seat. It's me taking leadership. It's me making decisions, taking responsibility, and putting into action the greatest gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us all, the gift of free will, by choosing and deciding. Because it is suggested, it is, you know, the blessings are there, there are lots of benefits, but ultimately it's up to me. I can choose to or not to. By choosing to, by deciding to, by making a decision, by prioritizing, by cementing that, if you like, that choice, and then reverse engineering the small steps that I want to take, I need to take, I will take, I choose to take, I schedule to take, to get me to achieve that end, with the full belief, conviction and faith that I will be rewarded, that I will be blessed, and that, mashallah, it is a good thing for me in this world, and most certainly in the next, inshallah. When we are in alignment with our physical, spiritual and psychological, that is the truest embodiment of being present, because you are present with your whole self, with all the parts that make you you, with all your humanness, your humanness, with all of you. In that moment, I am optimizing me as a creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I am optimizing and choosing to optimize how I fulfill my purpose, which is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are so lucky in our faith that we have two questions that have plagued humanity for all time answered for us. Who am I? And what am I here for? You know, we could climb the tallest mountains, we could seclude ourselves, we could, you know, go to the most beautiful beaches, we could take ourselves away and in order to try and find ourselves, our purpose, who we are, what we're here for. And alhamdulillah, 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 we are truly blessed within our faith to know who we are. We are creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What's our purpose? What we're here for? To worship Him. And the greatest thing that we can do, or the greatest resource that we have to do that, to fulfill our purpose, is choice of how we do that. Yes, we have the tenets of our faith, we have the pillars of our faith, we have the Farad, but everything outside of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that He did not create us except but to worship Him. He could have said, He created us to worship Him, but He said He didn't create us except but to. It's like, it's emphasised. So everything that we do is worship. Outside of the Salah, outside of Ramadan, outside of giving zakah, outside of Hajj, and subhanAllah, even if we are not able to be, standing in Arafah right now, standing there, standing in the holiest place, we are able to still emulate and replicate that intention, that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though we're not there physically, in our minds and in our hearts, and spiritually and mentally, with the intention of wanting to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, standing in worship of him, we can earn the rewards of that connection that is afforded to us on the day of Arafah. So in choosing to do what I want and deciding what I can, not waiting for a feeling, I'll see how I feel, I'll see what happens, but by deciding ahead of time that this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to do, and I'll pop my my ibadah schedule up, and this is fully around my usual day to day. Mashallah, I have 4 children, I'll be working tomorrow, and in doing this, in deciding and choosing how I optimise and eke out the blessings of the day, I can utilise my everyday life, I can utilise my parenting, utilise my work by helping my clients, by helping my children, by being of service in a way that empowers them to be, to be better, to be well, to optimise their lives so that they can worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala better. Subhanallah, it's a blessing in and of itself. But on the day of Arafah, by intentionally choosing to do that, and the other things that I want to do, the other ways that I want to show up, the other parts that the other bits of me that I want to be, how I want to navigate tomorrow, how I want to show up in all the arenas of my life tomorrow, I can decide that ahead of time. So then it becomes a foregone conclusion. It's not, we'll see how it goes. It's not, we'll see how I feel. It is, I've made my intention, I've prioritised, I've decided, I'm prepared, and I'm doing everything that I can in order to achieve that end. So to rest well tonight, to prepare my food ahead of time, to make some small plans, but to be flexible and merciful to myself, absolutely, but to make realistic plans, but all infused with the desire to do as much connection, not just doing the ibadah, but what is ibadah? What is the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It is the connection with him. And we can't touch him, we can't feel him, we can't see him. So our connection with him is what we think, how we think of him, how we communicate with him. It's all up here and in here. And by having that very much at the forefront of my mind, I am optimizing everything I have in order to optimize tomorrow, the greatest day in the best days of the year, that the rewards and the blessings for me to have the best day, the best week, the best month, the best year, the best life. Alhamdulillah, that is worth waking up tomorrow morning early for. That for me is the incentive. That for me is that connection, that desire, that choice, that I want to reap those rewards. I want those blessings, and knowing that I can do what I set out to do by setting very realistic schedules for myself and being merciful to myself, but also stretching myself a bit. This does involve, a little bit of planning. This does involve a little less sleep than I'm used to. This does involve me taking care of myself so that I can show up tomorrow in the way that I want. Yeah, and it takes a bit of effort and a bit of desire and a bit of stretching, a bit of it's not plain sailing, but I choose to do that, because if we're not if we're not stretching ourselves, we're just staying still. And I want to move forward. I want to stretch myself, not to the breaking point, but to that good stretch, that, really flexing my spiritual, physical and psychological muscle, if you like, really working it and feeling the benefits. So what are you doing tomorrow? How do you want the day of Arafah to go? And if you haven't thought about it, think about it now. How would you like your day to go? How would you like to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tomorrow? How would you like to earn the rewards on offer tomorrow? What can you do with what you've got? What can you do with everything that you have in your life right now? And what could you stretch yourself? What could you go just that tiny little bit further to do? It's your choice. It's your life. You get to decide. Inshallah, I pray that this has helped you think about it, that this has helped you reflect upon what you can do and reflect upon why. Why do we do anything? Why is there this fervour to do anything? Is it just tradition? Is it just the same old? When we stop and think truly about our why, about why it is that we want to do or that we are doing anything, especially during this time, if the answer isn't to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what are you doing it for? What is compelling you? And you'll find that that's the same reason that's stopping you. If you want to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, empower your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, energize it, refresh it, reinvigorate it, strengthen it, it comes from you. It comes from a choice. So I'm preparing and scheduling and prioritizing and deciding ahead of time what I'm going to be doing tomorrow and what I need to do beforehand to take me to where I want to be, to achieve that end. It starts tonight. I pray that whatever your plans for tomorrow, whatever way in which you are observing the day of Arafah, that you are blessed, that you are reaping the rewards, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you in abundance for your striving, for your efforts, and one small action. Doesn't have to be massive, just one small action. If you think, no, I can't do anything, it's too late, just one small thing, whether it be an act of charity, an act of kindness. If you want to fast, if you read one page, one ayah even, if it is with the intention of connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is, that's one step. And we're told that we don't have to do much in order to get much in return, in order to get a lot in return. So think about that as your one step towards Allah. He will take more steps towards you. Inshallah, I pray this has helped, and as always, I pray that you are safe, well, happy and healthy, and I look forward to speaking with you again another time. But for now, take care. Assalamu alaikum.